welcome to your 2024 reading. This is going to be an annual review of what you can expect this year. I will be pulling a tarot card for each month, so all the way from January to December. And since I am getting this reading a bit later in the month for you guys, so it is delayed, I do apologize for that. So thank you for your patience. But since I am getting this a little bit later, we will be using January as a check-in of your energy to see if this reading is for you. So if the January portion resonates for you, great. And if it doesn't, then I do suggest watching a different reading for a different placement, such as your rising or your moon sign or any other placement you feel guided to watch. All right, and also before we get started into this reading, I also want to mention that I now have a new listing on Etsy. I am now a certified Reiki practitioner. So if you are interested in receiving a Reiki healing session from me, all of that information is in the description box below. If you have any questions about it, if you want to learn a little bit more of how I do things, feel free to send me a message in any of the social media platforms or even an email. And also, before we get into this reading, please keep in mind that this is a general reading, so not everything may resonate. So please only take what does and leave what doesn't. And I also forgot to mention that if you ever want to get a regular tarot reading with me, that is also in my Etsy shop. So check out all that information in the description box below. But without further ado, let's get started on your reading. So like I said, we're going to be pulling a card for each month. So for January, you have the Queen of Cups. For February, you have the Hierophant. For March, you have the Page of Wands. For April, you have the Tower. May, the Ace of Cups. Justice for June. For July, you have the Two of Pentacles. August, Four of Wands. September, Judgment. October, King of Swords. November, Ten of Swords. And December, the World. All right, and bottom of the deck, you have the Hermit. So for this reading, we will be using the background energy as the underlying energy for your entire year. So it looks like you're going to be in hermit mode this year, Taurus, or you've already been in hermit mode, especially during the winter season, wherever you are in the world. I do feel that you're a lot more cooped up inside, a lot of spiritual growth. I feel like you have this deep inner rich world that keeps you entertained, and you don't really need much to be entertained, and you don't really need to be around a lot of people to feel full within yourself. I feel like you like to spend a lot of time, and you're going to take more notice of that this year than any other year before. So whether you're single or in a relationship, it doesn't really matter. I feel like you're going to be in hermit mode regardless. There's just something about this year that you're just wanting to tune inward, maybe because you're tired of all the noise that's outside of you. Maybe there's just a lot going on in your life, in the world, that you're wanting just some silence for yourself. So I do feel like you want peace. You want to be surrounded by peace right now. Peace is very important to you this year. So I do feel like you've taken up some spiritual practices. Maybe you've picked up on a daily routine of meditation or just going within. And I feel like whenever you need answers, instead of looking externally for them, you just look internally. You don't really need, like I said, to look outside of yourself too much. So it's a beautiful energy to have here. And I do feel like there's something with the moon here for your reading coming through. So you could be connected to the moon. Maybe you have just a strong moon sign. It could be like in Pisces or in Cancer. But I do feel like you're someone who keeps track of the moon phases, or you're being guided to keep track of the moon phases. Okay, so, keeping track with like the first quarter and the last quarter, the waning moon, the waxing moon, that sort of thing. So if that resonates for you, if you've been already doing that or like curious about that, that's definitely a message for you. Okay, so Virgo energy coming through here. So you could have Virgo in your chart as well. Obviously, it doesn't have to be the case. But I just feel like you're very much soul searching and trying to find this light within yourself, a lot of inner growth. And there was another word that was coming to me, self discovery. There's a lot of self discovery within yourself this year. And I feel that everything in life that happens this year is going to take you back to you. So, on good days, let's say you achieve success, you're going to go back to you and kind of reflect on it. If something quote unquote bad happens, a challenge arises, you're going to go back to you. That's kind of the energy I'm getting here. It's like usually some people want to share their good news with friends or their struggles with friends. I don't really see you doing that. I feel like you keep it to yourself, and it's not in an unhealthy way. I mean, yes, you do share it with people, but not for the reasons that most people do, not because you want to vent and feel better about the situation, but rather you say it because, you want people to know what's going on in your life. But if you're seeking solace of any kind or even recognition, you don't need it from anyone but yourself. So I just feel like you are your biggest supporter. It's a beautiful energy. Like you are your biggest fan. It's a really beautiful energy. So starting with January, we have the Queen of Cups for you, which again, very similar energy. Notice how they both have their eyes closed. Very, very different cards, but the energy is the same, right? Because painting, doing an activity that you love can be meditating in its own way, of course. And they both have their eyes closed. So I do feel that, again, you're just someone who has a deep, rich inner world. You don't need much to be entertained by outside people. I feel like you're someone who can paint for hours. You can be creative for hours. So in January, I do feel that you're, again, just doing what you love, spending time in nature on your own, again, not needing anyone. And I do feel like maybe something happened in 2023 that caused you to get into this energy of feeling like I am my biggest supporter. I don't need anyone around me. And I don't feel like it's out of spite. It could be, but it doesn't come off that way initially right now for me as the reader. It doesn't feel that way. It feels very genuine. It kind of feels like, well, I'm good. I can do this on my own. Very much like a lone wolf energy, but not lonely, It's empowering, if anything. But I feel like in January, you are saying yes to more of the things you love and saying no to the things that you don't. I feel like this is something you've battled within yourself. Maybe in the past, you were someone who didn't have boundaries. You allowed people to take advantage of you, or maybe you said yes to a lot of things even though you didn't want to do them. I feel like this start of this year, you were just very much in your own power, and you did it in a loving way, and it was authentic to you. It felt right to you. And again, there's the moon here, so I do feel like you have a connection to the moon in some way. Yeah, we have the Five of Cups. Exactly. I do feel like there was some pain, there was some rejection of some kind, and that could be what led you to yourself, right? Rejection is divine protection. That's kind of the energy I'm getting here from you. It's like maybe you were rejected by someone that you loved. Yeah, as I say that, we have the Two of Cups. You could have been dealing with a relationship that, maybe you gave your all to, only to find out that they didn't feel the same, or the timing just wasn't right, or whatever reason it couldn't work. I feel like this person could have had their own issues, their own wounds. Maybe they had substance abuse issues, or they were just more of escapists. Maybe they weren't ready to confront their demons, and you were not meant to be around that person while they did that. It wasn't your obligation. It wasn't your duty to be there and try to save them. And I think once you let go of this person, they were holding you back in a way. So once you let go of them, I feel that you genuinely found your power and your soul's calling, even with that Hermit card. And now you're doing great. Now you're feeling a lot better. You're feeling rejuvenated. And I feel that you understand why that loss needed to happen. You get it now. In the past, maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought you would die without this person. But then when you opened your eyes, maybe stopped looking at this person through rose-colored glasses, you saw the truth for what it was and you understood. You know, it was like a divine understanding, an epiphany, and a revelation that you may have experienced. And you realized, this isn't good for me anymore. I have to cut my losses here. But I do feel, because we have the Two of Cups here, and she's holding 2 cups, which, of course, in the Five of Cups, the message is that there's always 2 cups left standing. So I feel like what you don't see is that there is a special person for you happening in the background. Behind the scenes, you don't really see it just yet. You're not meant to see it just yet. But maybe you just being in acceptance and surrendering and allowing yourself to allow whatever needs to come into your life, whatever blessings are meant for you. I feel that once you changed your energy from this loss to a more hopeful perspective, that also helped you bring this relationship into your life, this Two of Cups. So you could be in a relationship, you could have already met this person, but I feel like with it being in the background energy, it's not quite in the physical yet. It's being worked on behind the scenes. But you have to be willing to let go of this in order for the Two of Cups to fully come in. Because whoever this Two of Cups is meant for you. They're the ones that have this red thread of fate with you. Because if you have a red thread of fate with someone, you're meant to be with them. I don't think you and this person who rejected you or made you feel less than, I don't think you had a red thread of fate with them. Okay, so your special person is out there if that's something that you've been wondering about. But I feel like you already know that, especially with the Queen of Cups. There's this like intuition that's very strong within you. I feel like you already know that there's someone special for you out there. All you need to do is trust and let go and have faith, and it'll all work out for you. So it's a very beautiful energy with this Queen of Cups. So important dates for January could have been January 5th, January 2nd. Okay, so moving on over to February, we have the High Priest. So with the High Priest here, I do feel that February has been challenging in its own way. I do feel that challenges in terms of your spiritual beliefs, okay, the way you carry yourself, the way your daily routine is, okay, I feel like the energy that I'm getting with this High Priest is very conventional, so traditions, that sort of thing. So the reason I feel like there could have been challenge is because I feel like your belief systems are changing. Okay, and the way that there's this book being handed to this person, I do feel like this is you sort of accepting any newfound wisdom and knowledge that needs to come your way. So you could be getting a lot of spiritual downloads this month, and maybe you feel like, where the heck is this coming from? But with the Queen of Cups for January, I do feel like you've already been opening up in a way that you're becoming this channel from the divine to you, and you're allowing yourself to receive these divine messages. Okay, so if maybe in the past you didn't believe yourself as a psychic, for example, or you didn't think you were as intuitive as you were, I feel like that's all changing in February. Yeah, Six of Swords, there's something changing within you and you're moving forward. You're letting go of the old you and the new you is being born. Okay, I feel like this dark cloud is this Five of Cups energy, the wounds that maybe you've struggled to let go, maybe you're attached to them. You're being forced to let go in order to up-level your life. And I feel that's why you're open to the new possibilities and the new wisdom that is being given to you at this time. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands. So I do feel like you've had a choice, right? Either choice 1 or choice 2. Should I stay in the old tried, in the tradition, or should I try something that's unconventional? I feel like you've been caught between both worlds of that, the unconventional and the conventional. And I think you decided to go with the unconventional route with the Six of Swords. But notice with the High Priest here, that's the conventional, right? That's a tradition. So I do feel that you've kind of made your own twist of it, your own twist of fate even. You're writing your own story and you're doing it in a way that feels authentic to you. And you're able to move forward in a way that feels authentic to you. You know, you're able to leave the past in the past because you have this newfound wisdom, this newfound knowledge. Okay, the kind of energy that I'm getting for an example is like, if you grew up in a very strict religious household and maybe you tied a lot of your beliefs to that, and maybe you carried a lot of shame and guilt for not having done things their way, I feel that in February you found a way to feel authentic with yourself, but also able to honor that religion and honor that past, you know, and not look at it through a lens of resentment, but rather more of like, thank you for showing me what doesn't work for me. And it's not that I don't think what you're doing is right, but rather I need to find my own way. Okay, because with the Six of Swords here, it's Aquarius energy. So it feels very free spirited. Aquarius energy is unconventional. Okay, so I feel like you've been caught between both worlds of the old and the new, and you're trying to merge something that works for you. You're trying to find the balance between that. So that's February for you. So February could be a very spiritual month for you in that way. But I feel like you're finding the answers, you're finding the truth, and you're finding the clarity that you've been yearning for in life. Okay, so important dates for February are February 2nd, February 5th, and February 6th. So moving on over to March. So we have the Page of Wands. So I do feel like March is going to be more lighthearted. It's going to be more curious, more exciting. Okay, it's not going to be as serious as the first 2 months. I feel like January you had to let go of something. February you had to apply this new version of yourself. And now in March you get to just have fun. Could be because of the spring season or wherever you are in the world. You know, I feel like you're not taking life so seriously anymore. In fact, you're feeling excited to just live your life in a way that doesn't feel so constricted. Okay, this could even be you living in this new version of yourself, or you may have moved in February with the Six of Swords too, that in March you love this new place that you live in. And this new place can also just be a new vibration that you're in, that you're feeling excited, you're feeling curious about taking on new projects, you know, doing things that maybe you wouldn't have done if you stayed with the old. Yeah, look at that, Two of Cups. Beautiful. So like I was saying, I do feel like if this relationship is not in your life, it's definitely being worked on behind the scenes. So there is potential possibility of you meeting this person in March, if that's the case. Okay, if you're already in a relationship and it feels right, it feels good in your soul, I just feel that in March, you know, it's more of a confirmation that yes, this is my person, or you guys even tie the knot and make it exclusive, however that means for you. Okay, but I do feel that for a lot of you, this is a new relationship, especially with the Page of Wands. I feel like you could meet this person when you're out and about, like doing recreational activities. It could literally be like you guys out skateboarding, like at a skate park. Doesn't matter how old you are, okay? Like you could still be doing those things. And I also feel that with the Page of Wands, this could also be like an online meeting. Like you guys could meet online via any social media app or dating app, and then when you meet in person you guys hit it off really well, because when it's meant to be, it's going to be, you know, there's not going to be any obstacle in the way for the two of you to meet. And then bottom of the deck we have the Nine of Cups, which I feel that is a wish come true for you. So if you have been, you know, manifesting, putting that energy out there that you want a special partner, I do feel like your prayers have been heard, and I do feel like it's all in the works for you. And I think a big part of this happening for you is because you let go. You're in that Queen of Cups energy of just allowing things to happen for you instead of going after them, you know, and I feel that that's why you're being blessed with this in March. So I do feel that March is going to be a very exciting month for you, and it's going to be everything that you've dreamt and more. Okay, especially with this Nine of Cups. I do feel like with this Nine of Cups too, like whether you or this person, if it is an online situation where you guys meet online, I do feel like a certain picture grabs the other person's attention, whether that's you or them, but I do feel like a certain selfie grabs someone's attention. All right, so dates for March, we have March 2nd and March 9th. All right, so moving on over to April, we have the Tower. So do not fear this Tower, Taurus, because I do feel like it's leading you in the path that you ultimately want. And sometimes when we're manifesting and wishing for things, we don't realize that certain things need to be let go of. And sometimes it's going to be very chaotic and uncomfortable for a little bit. So I do feel like in April, there is going to be a shakeup in your life, but it's only going to be a wake-up call for you to really assess where you are in life, really assess what it is that you're wanting, who you want in your life, and that sort of thing. Okay, so I do see it as a wake-up call of shedding what no longer serves you. And that could mean anything. Six of Pentacles. Okay, so this could have to do with your money or your job or your relationships. Bottom of the deck is Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think it's going to be money for a lot of you. It could be a job loss, a job opportunity. I've heard those instantaneous. So if you do get fired from a job, or you get let go of, or you yourself leave a certain job, I do feel that it's opening the doors for the job that is meant for you, or the opportunities that are meant for you, right? Because the Six of Pentacles is an answered prayer. So I feel like if you've been putting out into the universe like a dream job, be prepared to get fired or like be without a job for a few weeks. Like that's how it works sometimes, and people don't realize that. Sometimes we don't get our manifestation like that. You know, sometimes we're in a little bit of limbo and a fear of the unknown. So I do feel that that may happen in April for you, that there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup in terms of your money, your finances, your job, your stability, but it's going to give you that like next leg up for the next phase of your life, the next version of you. And you're going to be all the more wiser, stronger because of it. Okay, in the moment, it's going to feel like, why the F is this happening to me? But instead of asking, why is it happening? You should be saying, this is happening for me. Okay, this is happening for a reason. So look at it more as a blessing in disguise when this tower does happen. That will be your saving grace. Okay, and don't get too worried on the materialistic aspect of things. With this Five of Pentacles, I do feel like, yeah, look at that Nine of Wands. Yeah, it's very much from your job situation here with the Nine of Wands. I feel like this job, you just don't like it anymore. You could be burnt out there. You could be feeling like you're overqualified and underpaid. And you do a lot with the Ten of Wands. You can work a lot of overtime and you feel like you're still just making ends meet. It's time to know your worth. Okay, you could not even be manifesting a job and then something like this happens to you, but it's time to reflect and ask for more. Know your worth, I feel like, is the message that's gonna come through for you in April. Okay, let's say you are working at a job where you're working like a dog and you're not making as much as you think you need to. Maybe you're afraid to ask for a raise, or however that resonates for you. But there's something that's meant to shake you in order to kind of get you to wake up, to ask for more, ask for what you're deserving of. Okay, so dates for April are April 5th, April 6th, and April 16th. All right, so moving on over to May, we have the Ace of Cups, which is a beautiful energy. I feel like you survived this tower moment. Okay, you're still alive and breathing here. And there's even a new love activation here. Okay, I feel like this is love of self. Because if we're talking about struggles of worth here in April, I do feel that in May you find that piece that was missing within you. Okay, and again, I do feel like it has to do with money, maybe your relationship with money, your relationship with abundance and stability, that sort of thing. But I feel like you learn that the message is to just love yourself, love your life, and be grateful for all that you have. It's really that simple. And it's even worth celebrating with this champagne glass here. Yeah, look at that. To clarify that, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is exactly what I'm saying. I feel that in April, you get tested when it comes to you maybe not feeling like this. Maybe you feel like you can't take days off. Maybe you feel that if you take days off, you're going to get fired. But no job should make you feel that way. You should be able to take as many days off as you want. Yeah, look at that. Ace of Pentacles. It was a blessing in disguise. Okay, this was opportunity knocking on your door. It just doesn't show up in the way that you expect it. It's always going to come through differently. It's always going to come through as a shock to us. And sometimes that tower is the universe's way, is God's way of saying, it's time to bring your manifestation, but we got to move some things around. And I feel that you learned that lesson, that in May you're able to radiate in this abundance. You're able to even take a vacation if you want. Because every time I look at this card with the towel and the robe, I always feel like it's a robe that you get at a hotel. So I feel like you take those days off. You even have a spa day with yourself. Okay, so there was definitely an opportunity knocking on the door when you may have thought it was like your world shattering. But usually when your world is shattering, it's only because a new beginning is emerging and it's a beautiful new blessing. All right, so for May, you have May 1st, May 9th, and May 1st again. So that could be a May 11th or May 2nd as well. Okay, so moving on over to June, you have Justice. So I'm getting a few things here with Justice. If landing a specific job is important to you, I do feel like in June, you find the right job, you sign that contract, you find what fits for you, you find the balance in that. So I do feel like June, you find balance in the disruption of your life. If your finances did take a hit, if you did lose a job, okay, if that is what happens to you, I do feel like in June, you find a balance of that. Okay, but also here in June, I do feel like a soul contract is occurring, okay? So this could be legal issues, or it could be like a literal soulmate entering your life to begin this new soul contract with you. So let's get some clarification to get a little bit more specific. We have Two of Wands. Okay. Wow. And the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. All right. So Taurus, with this Knight of Cups and this Two of Wands, I do feel like someone does enter your life. I do feel like a soulmate enters your life, like a romantic soulmate, to the point of you feeling like you now have two options to date two people, or, now you're like in love with two people is the energy that I'm getting here. And I feel like the reason you fall in love with this new person, for example, is because you and this person also have a soul contract together. Okay, so with the Two of Wands there, I do feel like you want both, so I don't know how that's going to resonate for you, but I am getting the push to say that if like open relationships are your thing, that might be a suggestion to make that work. But I know that's like not like everyone's perspective, but that is coming through also. But I do feel like you're going to be in love with both of these people because you have soul contracts with both of them. Okay, so yeah, this person's going to sweep you off your feet. They're going to be very romantic, very charming. And yeah, I think that's all I'm getting for that. It feels very mysterious because it feels like we're not supposed to know too much. All you're supposed to know is that you're going to be met with two different choices here. Oh, another thing that I'm getting is it feels romantic 100% though with this Knight of Cups, but if that's not the case, I also feel that two paths are going to open for you. You're going to have two choices of paths to go down. And whichever path you choose will determine your fate, will determine destiny. So like no pressure, but pressure at the same time. So I feel that with this Two of Wands here, you're meant to really ponder on what is right for you, what genuinely feels right. I feel like you won't have a problem with choosing because with that Hermit energy as your underlying energy for the entire year, I feel like you're already constantly like introspective. You're already constantly in this deep inner thought that you'll know. But I feel like that might even be the lesson here, like the trick is that even though you're so in tune with yourself, like you're still going to be confused. But at the same time, not. Okay, but I am getting split in two different directions, like very hardcore right now. Like even with these two scales, it's like there's the white one and the black one, and then there's two choices here. So I do feel like a big choice is going to need to be made in June. All right, so dates for June are June 2nd and June 11th. Okay, so moving to July, we have the Two of Pentacles. So interesting. You may not make your decision just yet. You may still be going back and forth. And that's so funny that I'm seeing this here because like I almost wanted to say it's like you want your cake and you want to eat it too. It's like you want both people, you want both paths, but you can't have just one or the other. You have to choose one. So it's funny that this imagery is like a great depiction of what I was feeling here. It's like you want both ice cream cones, but notice how she's like dropping the other one because she can only manage one at a time, right? So I feel like in July, you're still going to be going back and forth about what these decisions are. This is you trying to find balance in the two. I don't know why I'm feeling like bi-coastal energy. If you live in the United States, it's almost like you want to live in the West Coast and the East Coast, and maybe you're flying back and forth a lot until you get burnt out because you know that's like not realistic. That was a very small message there, but something like that. I mean, even if you like wherever you are in the world, like if it's a plane ride away and you're trying to make it work, it's like it works for like 6 months at most, and then you're over it after. Okay, what is this choice that Taurus needs to make? Whoa, the Lovers. Yep, Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, like I was saying, it feels romantic 100%. There you have it. Yeah, I do, and I just got chills. I do feel that this other person that comes into your life, this Knight of Cups, they're going to be super charming. They're going to be very fun. Maybe they're really different. And it almost feels like that energy of like, let's say they're someone that like teenage version of you would have loved to have gotten their attention in high school. You know, like let's say it's like the popular person in high school that like maybe never gave you the attention, and then now you're in adulthood and this person's giving you that attention. It feels like that. It's like almost you're satisfying this like fantasy of your teenage self with this other person, but in reality this Two of Cups, this Lovers person, they're your true soulmate. There's only one person that is like truly your person, but for some reason this Knight of Cups also has a way with you. They're very charming. They just know what to say. It's like they whisper sweet nothings in your ear, but at the same time, it's very enticing. It's very, you know, it's like Pied Piper. It's like they know how to swoon you, and you can't help but want more. It's like irresistible. But at the end of the day, you know who your real person is because there's only one person that you have this genuine connection with. Okay, and I'm being drawn to the yin yang, the black and white here, which is also in the scales over here. So I do feel that in June, you may meet this second person that kind of throws you off your game a little bit because you weren't expecting it. And that could even be a test of this relationship to see if you're really going to, you know, appreciate this relationship for what it is, you know, because sometimes, you know, God can bless us with our soulmate, and then they test us to see if we're really going to be with them and make the effort to be with them. You know, maybe they send us like a knight in shining armor and someone who is like, I don't know, a movie star, like your celebrity crush, you know, all of a sudden like cross paths with you and they want to ask you out. It's something like that. But I feel like at the end, you're going to choose right. You're going to make the right choice. Okay. Because the Lovers is also about a choice. And when I was in this energy over here, I was almost like, where's the Lovers? I feel like the Lovers needs to fall out. And sure enough, here it is. So I do feel that for a little bit in time, you will be confused. You will kind of go back and forth. Like you'll want your cake and eat it too. But at the end of the day, you know who your real person is. And like, that's a no-brainer. Okay, we do have the Eight of Pentacles in the background energy. Yeah, we have the Hangman. So I do feel like for a period of time, you're in this Hangman energy. It's like you're trying to figure out what you want, who do you want to be with, because both people in that moment satisfy your quench, you know, satisfy your thirst. But then moving down the line, I think you start getting more practical with the Eight of Pentacles. You know, you start thinking more of like, well, who would I build a life with? Who do I see myself spending the rest of my days with? And once you start getting more into that practical energy and less out of the Knight of Cups energy that can just kind of be like a blindless follower of romance, you know, I feel like you kind of ground yourself a little bit more and then you realize, okay, this is my person. It was a no-brainer from the beginning. So beautiful energy in July. So for July, we have July 2nd, July 6th, and July 8th. So moving on over to August, I feel that because you make the right choice of your true soulmate here, there's a celebration of sorts in August, even a wedding, a marriage, or just a commitment to this partnership. Okay, but with the Four of Wands, I mean, you guys know that is the wedding card, right? So I do feel that there is a tying of the knot in August for you guys in however way that means for you. I do feel like you guys join friend groups. So like, you know, this person's friend groups and your friend groups like come together and it's like a celebration for all. And everyone supports this. It's very abundant, very beautiful. So I do feel like you end up choosing the right person. Okay. And I feel that even if you were to tell this soulmate of yours that you want to kind of get to know other people before you make it exclusive, I feel that they're open to that because like their higher self, their soul knows that if you're meant to be together, you will be together. It's like, it's like that saying, like if you love them, let them go, and if they come back, they're yours. It's kind of that energy. It's like they give you the wings to fly and kind of figure yourself out, but you end up coming back to them. And they always knew that all along. Wow, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it's fated. It's destined. It was always meant to be. Eight of Cups. And then I'm being drawn to the black and white again here, the different contrasts. You and this person could be very different from each other. It's like opposites attract. But yeah, it was always destined. It was in the stars, like to put it simply. Like it was just always going to happen the way that it happened. Everything was a divine orchestration, like this Knight of Cups entering your life and testing the relationship, that sort of thing. Like it was all meant to happen. Okay, and then with the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, there we have the Empress. I feel like that's your energy for sure. I mean, obviously it is, but like with the cards here, it's just confirming everything. So with the Eight of Cups in the background energy, I feel like this is you walking away from what no longer serves you. This is you even like saying goodbye to like all your past lovers. It feels like with this Eight of Cups, like you could have like 8 lovers in your past, and that they were all lessons, because I feel like these Eight of Cups were all lessons that you learned in order to get to this place of this Four of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. It's like all of those souls that you met were all part of your path. You were meant to cross paths with them, but ultimately you only had one destiny in the end, and that's the one that you walked into. So very beautiful. So dates for August are August 4th, August 10th, and August 8th. Okay, so moving to September, we have Judgment. So I do feel that, again, another sort of reality check happens for you in September. It could be like halfway mark here, because your other reality check was in April, right? And now we're at September. That's like, what, 5 months later? So I do feel like there is another revelation of sorts that you undergo in September. Okay, I do feel like a spiritual initiation or an awakening of sorts, especially because after this celebration, after this like commitment of 2, it's almost like, okay, that chapter's over. This is the next chapter in your life. And that could be like another awakening of sorts. So let's figure that out. Oh, we have the Four of Cups. Yeah, I feel like sometimes when we hit such high highs in lives, it only makes sense to go low for a little bit, right? So I do feel that August, it's almost like the peak of your year. It could be the highlight of your year. That in September, maybe you kind of fall back into a rut. Maybe this is you going back to reality. Especially if you did have like a honeymoon in August, for example, or you took a really long vacation and then you have to go back to work in September. It feels like you do hit a bit of a rut, but it awakens something within you. It kind of wakes you up to your truth, especially if you are working in like a job that doesn't really satisfy you. I feel that it like really moves something within you in September. Okay, but this is also, if it's not so much the job, I do feel like whatever you've kind of been running away from or escaping, ignoring, you're being made to confront it. Okay, so that could be a conversation with someone with this new message. With a certain person, I do feel like there is something that you need to confront. And something with this Judgment energy is going to force you to confront it. And maybe you're just like not wanting to deal with it, but you have no choice but to deal with it in September. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Wands. So yeah, it does feel like you were on vacation, you know, and then you come back to reality. And it's almost like, what's the point? You know, it could even be like post-travel depression that you undergo in September, but it changes something within you. You know, maybe it makes you feel like, I need to change careers. I need to move to a different place. You know, it wakes something up within you. So it's still necessary at the end of the day. Okay, so dates for September are September 4th, September 3rd, and September 20th. Okay, so moving on to October, we have the King of Swords. So yeah, I do feel like you could change career or change course here with the King of Swords. Okay, I do feel like you're a lot more outspoken in October. You're speaking your truth more so. There could be an opportunity for you to speak up your truth, okay? It could have to do with this person over here that I was feeling like there's something you need to confront. There's something that you can't evade for much longer. And it feels like in October, you finally confront whatever that is. You know, it's almost like you get into your adult pants and you're like, okay, I need to just face this once and for all. Okay, we have the Magician that shot out over here. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, whatever this was that was plaguing you and making you feel like this energy where you just kind of want to ignore and evade the situation. Because I do feel like you could have been a prisoner of your own mind. You could have been trapped in your own mind, maybe thinking of the worst case scenarios, you know, replaying events in your head and not doing you any favors by doing that. We also have the Three of Swords over here, so there could have been some pain, heartbreak, disappointment that made you feel that you're not ready to deal with that. You're not ready to confront that. It could even be like a rejection of the past. You know, maybe you didn't get a certain job opportunity, or I don't know, it feels like there was something that was rejected and that kind of made you feel like you were going into a sort of downward spiral here. But it awoke something within you, like I was saying. But like I'm saying, in October, you are confronting this. You're fighting back, especially with this Magician energy. I feel like you find your true power again. You go from this energy and you go to this Magician energy where you find your power. You understand that you can create your reality by simply believing in yourself and taking action. And in this King of Swords energy, like I said, you get into your adult pants. You know, it's like you stop feeling sorry for yourself, you stop victimizing yourself, and you just take action with this Magician. So I feel like you start to get new ideas, fresh ideas of what you're wanting to implement for yourself moving forward. But it feels like this Judgment energy is what awoken everything within you to sort of get you to move to the next level, to kind of push you. And I feel like that is sort of the pattern here for you. It's like maybe you don't make strides, you don't make moves until you're forced by divine intervention. And that's kind of what it feels like here. So that could be something you're working on this year, that maybe don't wait until divine intervention comes into your life to shake you up. I feel like start making those moves before things are crumbling, because you are a manifestor. You just have to believe in yourself. But I do feel like in October, you finally figure it out. It's like you have a light bulb moment. Okay, so October, we have October 1st and October 8th. So moving on over to November, we have the Ten of Swords. So there is going to be some painful situations in November. Okay, but it's not for nothing. It's all for a reason. So it could be another rude awakening of sorts, but let's see. Interesting, you're getting the Three of Wands again. Yeah, it almost feels like you have to hit a breaking point. You have to, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the table like that. I was trying to crack my wrist. You have to hit a cracking point or a breaking point in order to find your true self, find that true light within you. Okay, because you have the moon here. So I do feel like you could still struggle with your own self-belief. Maybe you feel too different. Maybe you feel that what you're feeling isn't real. Okay, maybe that fear of the unknown again is like getting to you, and we're not perfect human beings. If you're not always constantly doing things right or living this dream life, it doesn't mean that you're failing. There's certain lessons and challenges that are being presented to you in your life so that you can learn and grow from them. Okay, so I do feel like November, something does happen that it disappoints you. Again, maybe you get like rejected from a certain job, or you're just like in despair about something, but it leads you to you. Okay, because I'm being drawn to the sun here, and there is a little sun in the background over here. Very small, but it's there. Okay, so I do feel that some type of disappointment happens, but you get right back on your feet again. Maybe like your worst fears do happen with the moon here. It's like maybe your own worst case scenarios do happen, but it also gives you the vitality and the courage to keep going. It's like you don't falter. You allow this pain to happen, you feel it, but then you also process it and move on from it. And I feel like certain disappointments, certain things that don't play out in our life usually are leading us down the path that is meant for us. Okay, so like the fact that this is Paris here, like let's say, for example, you do get like a rejection at a certain job, but maybe it gives you that opportunity to go to Paris finally, So I feel like that's your life here. It's like in the moment it looks like it's all crashing and burning, but then there's also a hidden blessing. And I think that's the biggest message in your reading here, is that there's a lot of hidden blessings in these times of turmoil. Okay, so dates for November are November 3rd, November 10th, and November 18th. All right, and finally December, you have the World. So it's funny that you get the World for December. So I feel that for you, December is definitely going to be a period of closing out cycles, leaving the past in the past. Normally December doesn't really mark the end of cycles for people, especially, just it being winter doesn't mean that just because the year's over that, we're brand new people on January 1st. But for you, that's not the case. For you, I do feel that in December, there is a completion of a cycle for you. You do feel like this old version of you is going to be left in 2024, and in 2025, you're able to start fresh, or at least feeling accomplished of your goals of 2024. I do feel that this year is going to feel like a marathon for you, but then when you get to the end, you feel great. You feel like, oh, I finally finished and I can reap my rewards. Okay, and I'm being drawn to this little bird here, so I do feel that you have a connection to birds. It's a white bird, or it looks brown. It looks like a hawk. So you could have like a spiritual connection with hawks, but I do feel that like a specific bird definitely like is a totem for you, or has messages for you when they do appear. It could even be a animal guide, spirit animal. Yeah, we have Seven of Wands. I do feel that, 2024 for you is going to have a lot of blessings, but it's also going to have a lot of challenges, but I feel like you're a warrior, you're a fighter, you're a survivor. And in December with the World here, to clarify this Seven of Wands, you feel that you are worth your accomplishments. This didn't come easy for you. In fact, you're able to enjoy your success more because of how difficult it was, because of how, you had to fight off your own inner demons, for example, and even other people too. We have the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So I do feel that in December, maybe you start to feel in denial of your successes here. Maybe you start to feel like, oh, I didn't do a lot. I had more failures than successes. But I feel like you're able to fight that off. You're able to fight off that negative voice in your head and feel accomplished at the end of it all. But it does feel like it's a challenge for you, for sure. With the Seven of Wands and the Two of Swords, it does feel like you go back and forth a lot. You could struggle with like imposter syndrome. Maybe when you do succeed at something, you feel wrong about it. So I do invite you to work on that, to work on your self-love and your self-worth. because that'll really help you fully feel accomplished and deserving of your winnings. But I do see that regardless, in December, you will get to a place where you'll be able to feel like you deserve to give yourself a pat on the back. All right, Taurus, so that is what I have for you for December. So the dates for December coming through are December 2nd, December 7th, and December 21st. So let's go ahead and finish this off with some oracles. So we'll start off with the Island Time Wellness, Law of Attraction. So the first one out is respond versus react. Express from a loving place. Old trigger / trauma yields drama. New beneficial thought patterns. Exactly. I do feel like that's something that you are reprogramming within yourself, like those new thought patterns, and also to express from a more loving place. Maybe you did have the tendency of reacting first instead of taking a step back and breathing before you reacted or responded. And then we have life surfing. Feeling capable of overcoming adversity, no expectations, approaching life like a sport. Exactly, and your life definitely feels like a sport this year. It feels like a lot of waves. You know, sometimes you get those big waves, but then sometimes you're just cruising. Surprise, in a way that you wouldn't expect. A gift from the universe. Intense, twist of fate, eclipse, news. Beautiful. So I did say that I do feel like your blessings do come out unexpectedly. It's like in a way that you wouldn't expect. And the twist of fate, that's what I was feeling here with that Wheel of Fortune. It's like whatever happens this year in your life, it's fated, it's destined. So also believe that there are blessings in disguise. Bottom of the deck is go for it. Step out of your comfort zone, make plans. Now is the time. Favorable outcome. In alignment. I do see a lot of travel for you this year. Okay, so that's something you can do. I definitely see that happening. Okay, so now we're going to do the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. Deal with the unexpected. Exactly. Treat the unforeseen as a divine offering. Exactly. When that Tower moment comes, when those rude awakening comes, see them as divine offerings instead of seeing them as, negative things happening to you. Beyond the ego, surrender to the flow of life. Exactly. And I do feel like you're doing that with the Queen of Cups here. I do feel like that's how you start your year off. Perhaps you just need to keep that momentum all throughout the year. Okay, and then balanced life. Love seeks your well-being. Exactly. And you did get a lot of balance too with the black and the white. And it was a lot to do with your romantic connection. So I do feel that this relationship will come into your life, but it'll also trigger aspects of you that you need to work on. And perhaps for you, that is your balance, your well-being. Okay, and then we have drunk with love. Let love lift you to freedom. So yeah, I do see love in the cards for you this year. And finally, from the fortune reading cards, we have wish. Your heart's desire is ready to come true. And I also picked up on that. So I love that we're getting this confirmation. Phoenix, be prepared to be renewed after a period of crisis, which again, I do feel like it is going to be a bit of a hectic year, but it's also going to renew you. Birth. Universal energy brings you opportunity and possibility. Exactly. And last message, fire. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. So that is what I have for you, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell button because I will be posting your love readings after this. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in your next reading.